Hey everyone, Ryan coming back at you here with, I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can, but let's be honest, it's a wordy conversation to have. I promised you guys a follow-up on what's going on with my Russell Wilson patch in Panini, as well as my final take on the entire situation. So, where I left off, I emailed Panini several times about the Russell Wilson patch out of 10 that I pulled, stamped game worn, turns out it was event used, right? So I messaged them 3 different emails, and they all kind of escalated in anger, I'll be frank. So the third one, I finally get a response Monday morning, and I won't tell you who from at Panini. I think they're all kind of equally responsible. But the person who did respond to me, instead of like, we're sorry for the situation or sorry for the hassle, the email literally started off with, Mr. Curtis, I just want to let you know, it is simply, like, you're taking this out of context. It literally is something as simple as, we just misprinted the card. That's it. Don't make it something it's not. And I was like, I'm going to make it what it is. Okay. So we get back in this pissing contest, which always sucks because everyone ends up getting wet. In this pissing contest, to where I was like, no, but you guys pitched the hell out of this, like on the Knights Lance, like every 4 days that, you know, it was the veterans were game worn and the rookies were going to be event used, and we all saw this shit. And ultimately, at the end of the conversation, it happened. I'm going to give you some options of how we get out of this. I will tell you, though, legally, Panini's in the clear. Like, no sense in approaching the Better Business Bureau. Like, at the end of the day, I dare you, and those were the words that were used to me, I dare you to find any piece of literature or a sales sheet or anything like that that would ever state that Panini came out and said it was 100% veteran game used and the rookies were event worn. I said, touche. I guess I just went with the assumption that everything you showed us was game worn, and at the price point, whatever. So instead of giving you the whole back and forth, because I was the youngest in a house full of women, so I could do this all day. But ultimately, the options that were given to me were, you can send the card back, we'll give you a $60 check, which, P.S., for the record, the first Russell Wilson patch out of 10 sold for $165. Guess neither here nor there. Offered me $60. Option 2, I have a lot of 2014 product laying around here, and we can find you something that's the equivalent of $100. Side pet peeve of mine, why the hell do you have 2014 product right in front of you? I think everything that was made in 2014 should have probably made the fucking products. I think the only things that you should have laying around are people that had back due replacement or back due redemptions. They ended up taking a replacement. Now you have an extra card laying around. If you're offering me 2014 product, you didn't put it all out there, and that's another pet peeve of mine. Neither here nor there. Or option 3, go fuck yourself. So I said, I'm trying to take the high road. Give me your list of things for $100. The response to me was, I can offer you a 2014 flawless Jordan Matthews pink auto to 14. Period. That was it. And still, I've yet to receive an apology. Or anyone, really, who's had to deal with them that I've talked to yet. And I replied to them and I said, so about that list, you just gave me one card. And you know I don't collect the Eagles, and you know that that's not a $100 card, so keep trying. They replied back with, we've got some Kenny Stills or A.J. McCarron, but I know you probably wouldn't want those either. And in my last reply to them on Monday, I'm trying to keep this as respectful as possible. On Monday, I replied to them with, it doesn't have to be flawless for flawless. What else do you have to offer me? And I haven't heard a response yet. So, still in the works, still getting the bird, whatever. I'm going to dive into my final thoughts with starting with this. You dropped the ball. Huge. You dropped the ball huge. And you can make it seem like you just messed up my cheeseburger order. No. It was a $2,700 card, and like, if you say it's game worn and you put in event used, that's fraud, and you try to run with it. You didn't, like, you have no quality control, you have no internal controls, you have no responsibility or governing body that makes you responsible for what you do, okay? So you need to handle it as what it is, right? It is what it is. It wasn't just like, oh, sorry guys, I think you have it really out of context and we just misprinted something. No, you fed us bullshit, I swallowed your bullshit, and you're just like, just kidding, it's arsenic. Whatever. So it's not even resolved. Okay, you need to prioritize what's going on in your world. I understand, like, you're focused on pumping products. Panini has never in the past had a problem with, like, holding a product back for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, delaying it. I think this is an appropriate time. I know it's around Christmas, so, you know, like, all the corporations in the world are like, money, 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 money. You need to prioritize your clients. You need to address your priorities, and like, instead of making someone like me, I'm not saying like Dominus Infinitus, I'm saying anyone who has an unresolved issue with this patch situation that you said you're going to try to resolve as quickly as possible, like, resolve them. And then you can keep going on to the Knights Lance and posting like, oh, here's 2 new basketball products coming out in the next 3 days, and here's all the Black Friday packs and shit. Like, resolve your issues first. Put all this other stuff on hold, and like, that's what's important. That's what's important. My goodness. I want to touch a base that no one's really touching bases on so far in regards to this issue. I love everyone hit some excellent points on both sides. You know, people who like, they don't really care if it's event or game worn, and there's people that, I guess you're like me in a sense, where we buy product and like it does matter. Okay, and I'm going to explain why. What no one's talking about is the price point. That's where I guess I'm most disappointed about. I am disappointed that like you don't give a shit that you mislabeled something. And in my world, I mean, I buy memorabilia. My whole basement is full of memorabilia. I understand the cost difference between going to Dick's Sporting Goods and buying an Andrew Luck Nike on-field jersey, you know, you're looking at $130, or buying an Andrew Luck game-worn jersey, it's like 20 grand, okay? So obviously, the price points are like vastly different. So in my head, I'm saying if you promote to me in a high-end product, like from Immaculate, National Treasures, and Flawless, in terms of Panini, it is your high-end range, it should be 100% veteran game-worn. And I understand where it's very different from like basketball and hockey, where like football, you have 16 games a year. Playoffs if you're lucky. And I understand it's really costly for these companies to go out and like buy these game-worn jerseys. Well, then just call it what it is. Like, buy some game-worn shit and save it for your top products. Everything else, just let it be known that like it's going to be event used unless otherwise stated. I'd feel a lot better about it. I'd feel a lot better about like you putting a certain price point on Prestige and Rookies and Stars and Momentum and whatever else your you know, playbook. I would understand that you have a gouged price for your high-end product. I would understand that. But if you're putting the same, you know, I don't know, Joe Flacco auto on Flawless and NT and Immaculate and Rookies and Stars, and it's the same event use thing, you cannot justify charging me the extra cost just because you put in a pretentious fucking case, a briefcase. That's not even a box of cards. Can we talk about that for a second? Like, I opened my case in front of my wife and my good buddy Dave, and both of our wives, almost like at the same time, it was kind of creepy. They were like, that has to be the most pretentious thing I've ever seen, coming in a briefcase. It's kind of excessive. Like, if you're putting the same product out, and it's all event use Joe Flacco auto, and all your products throughout the year, tell me for just a brief fleeting moment, like, how are you justifying the humongous gap in price, and you're not giving the customer any extra value, right? I agree. I think event used jersey cards, patch cards, they look awesome. But just call it what it is. Call it event used. Like, and I have no problem with that. And I have no problem supporting that. I understand where football, you're going to have a lot less game used stuff. Because there's less games in the year. Like basketball and hockey, they can just be like, everything's game used, even the rookies, because they played 12 in the last 2 weeks. They played 12 games and we bought 6 of the jerseys for like nickels on the dollar. Otherwise, they're being thrown away. I don't know. But that's what grinds my gear the most. The price point. No one's talking about the price point. I don't care. Like, ultimately, you need to have stronger internal controls. You need to have stronger, I don't know, responsibility to make sure it's going out. P.S. Your quality control team. Guys, like, if it's going to be event used, why the fuck are you putting a number 4 patch in Alshon Jeffrey who clearly wears number 17? Like, I understand you're like, well, we create these rookie jerseys because we can put rookie everywhere and the number 88 and number 80 and we just feel like it maximizes the patchability. That's whatever. If that's what you're going to do, please at least give us the decency of not putting a number 88 patch in a Russell Wilson card. He wears number 3, guys. Like, at least do that. But then call it event used and make it look like it's going to be close enough to the player, I guess. And then at that point, it's really a conversation of like, in your collection, do you mind if it's event used or game worn? Me personally, I want it if it's game worn. And you can verify that it's game worn. If it's event used, I don't really care, but to each their own. I am saying, though, from someone who collects game worn, like, don't put game worn and give me event used, because I know at the price point that I paid for my case of Flawless, Like, shouldn't have been that big of a gap if you're giving me the exact same fucking patch in auto that you passed out in rookies and stars this year, right? Am I paying extra for that briefcase? I don't know. You can have that back and like save me the difference. I don't know. I wrote a lot of, so I said poor customer service, like they don't really give a shit. Poor internal controls. The price point's too high. At the end of the day, they need to realize they're a client-serving industry. I'm in a client-serving industry. We were for-profit, client-serving industry. And like at the end of the day, like my deliverable and my client are the only thing that matters to me. Only thing that matters. I take feedback and I improve my job. I have for the last 8.5 years. That's what I do for a living. That's how I got where I got. Panini got where they got because money talks, bullshit walks, and cash is king in this industry. That's it. They didn't get there because like they're excellent at customer service and providing the customer with exactly what they want. They should get there, because if you're going to be the industry leader, you need to be the industry leader, not just at we're the best at pumping out products. You need to be the best at everything. And like try to be the best at everything. Yeah. Okay, so I said I had no qualms with the event warrant, or, you know, as long as you're 100% accurate with what you're putting out. Talked about supply and demand. Yeah, I wrote patches that matches. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to use the event used, like, if you know the Seahawks drafted Russell Wilson, like, buy a ton of Russell Wilson jerseys. Like, that's it. Let's get some W's. Why the fuck is there an R in a Russell Wilson RPA? Like, looks ugly as hell. At least tacky. Like, I appreciate the multicolored patches as much as the next guy, but like, patches that matches. Please, try that. And then like, my most important point, I could talk for days about the price point and the lack of customer service and all this other shit. At the end of the day, I see a lot of people talking about getting out or like selling out through a lot of their PC. I fully endorse at all times, and I do it myself. I'm constantly always kind of like refining what I want to collect, moving forward. You know, like if we're going to make a lifelong investment in this stuff, you know, I'm not just trying to like arbitrarily just like go out and like pull the trigger on anything. Like I'm always kind of refining what I'm doing. And I fully, you know, implore you guys to do that too. I've said this to Alan Hardy. What up? Ghost of Zepho. We were on the phone at like 1 a.m. on Saturday talking about this. And I was talking to Matt the other day and like talking to all these other folks. Dude, at the end of the day, we can be butthurt as hell about like them dropping the ball, or we can just say it's a blemish. We can talk about it to them, share our opinion with them, and hopefully they can take a right step moving forward, or you can like back out, you know, one of the two. I love this hobby. I love everything about this hobby. You know, there's more good than bad. I say this all the time because I wholeheartedly believe it. There's more good than bad going on in this hobby at all times, and I'm not going to let Panini ruin, or Topps or Upper Deck or whoever else ruin my entire collector's experience. And I want to say to you guys, we can do all these rants or whatever. Don't let it take away from our friendships. Like I've got so many positive stories. I was telling Matt the other day, like 90% of my closest friends I've met through YouTube. I fucking love you guys. I love checking out your videos. I love seeing what everyone's bringing in. I don't want that to change. Like, I'm not going to let Panini and what I call Patchgate, because I think it's cute. Like, I'm not going to let any of that change how I feel about my friends or the relationships that I've developed, or like the feeling I get when I can come home and watch videos, or when people comment on my videos, or I get to meet new people at a show, and like I get to see them again at another show. Like, don't let Panini ruin your overall experience. It's no different than like if you have a shitty coworker at your office. Like, try to avoid them then, I guess. Don't let them affect your friendships or your fandom. Like, Panini can fucking go bankrupt. I'm going to be a Colts fan through and through till the day I die. Like, and they're not, like, I'm going to be like, Panini who? I don't care. Touchdown. Let's go. and when it comes, I know I talked to Matt too about this, my final closing note. With Panini getting the exclusive rights to stuff, we can't do anything about that. It's a done deal. It's a 10-year deal starting in 2016. So it's one thing to say, like, you don't endorse a corporation because you don't agree with some of the things they do. I'm just going to say I've refined myself for my own personal collection. I'm really trying to stick to just autos. If it's a sticker auto, like Dave Matthews says, make the best of what's around. Like, I'm trying to stick to on-card autos, sticker autos, and, like, nice base, right? That's what I'm sticking to. Like, unless you can show me, like, I don't know, they've done it in the past where they've shown, like, here's a hockey stick during the game, and here's where we've taken it from the guy, and this is how we store it, and this is actually us, like, taking that stored, card that has serial number, or the stick that had serial numbers on it, and we've chopped it up and made the card in front of you. I don't want it. I don't want it because, like, I can't trust a company who is handling this big of a fumble. It's a fumble. You didn't mess up my cheeseburger. Like, it's a humongous fumble, and the fact that, like, you clearly don't have a PR department, because your PR department would have, like, tried to clear this up ASAP. Moving forward, like, I would love to say I don't support them, but, like, I'm trying to open up a card shop, and in me trying to build my shop and my business on a foundation of integrity and customer service, I need to maintain that. And, like, I need to make sure that, like, I can maintain in my store that there's a level of, like, we're giving what we're promising and what was promised to us. So I'm just going to have to keep on top of that at all times. And even in your collection, for football collectors, like, I'm a 98% football collector. I can't avoid Panini. I'm not going to, I think they make some great looking design stuff. I just think that they need to strengthen their internal controls and take responsibility for what they're doing. Serve their client and give a shit that, like, between the $10 collector and the $10,000 collector, it doesn't matter if it's prestige or flawless. Everything in between, you need to do it better. Like, take it seriously. As seriously as we take it. And the moment that they do that, dude, the hobby's going to keep growing. And that's what I'm trying to go into business for, is to help strengthen what we have right now, sustain it going up the future. I want to be able to have a hobby to pass down to my kids and them onto their kids. And that's what we're all here for. Don't let Panini fuck with your fandom, our friendships, or your love for the hobby. I know they can, things like this kind of, like, take some wind out of your sails, but don't let it take all of it. That's all I'm saying. I've been rambling too long. I appreciate you listening. I'll keep you posted if I get anything back for that Russell Wilson. Enjoy the hobby. Love one another. I'm thankful for you guys. Happy early Thanksgiving. I love you guys so much. And excited to see what's up the road. Have your rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Deuces.